what are some mistakes you have seen some clients make that you want to warn others about?
Okay, I'll give you a story actually because it's kind of interesting. I had a client who came in, actually got laid off in the 2000 downturn, kind of like middle management in a tech company, was making a lot of money, like 250,000 a year, had a nice home in a nice area, but really, didn't save much. Maybe had about 250,000 saved and was still pretty young, 57. So, but at that time, it was really difficult to get a job in the tech business because the whole tech arena had exploded and couldn't find a job, and they really were hiring younger people at that time too. Uh, so he basically decided to retire early, which was a bit of a problem because he didn't have a lot of money saved, but he did have a very nice home with some good equity. So he sold that home and he moved into a smaller place here locally. The problem was that he and his wife continued to live the same lifestyle. So if you're trying to live a $250,000 lifestyle, you're going to need a lot of money. I mean, way more than he had. And they just didn't have flexibility to make an adjustment to their lifestyle. And it's sort of a mental flexibility. It's something I'd work on prior to retirement. Because once you get into retirement, things aren't that certain. You might have a pension, you might have Social Security, and some of those things might be pretty stable. But the rest of the things in the stock and bond market, I mean, even the banks, right? The bank money is stable, but it used to pay 8%. Now it's paying a quarter of a percent. So that's not stable either. So having that flexibility to adjust your lifestyle, because this couple would come in and I'd get out my calculator and say, hey, look, you got 3 years worth of money left, at this rate that you're spending. And then they come in at 12 months worth of money left and they eventually spent it all. And then they sold their place here and moved to Minnesota to get a cheaper place, capture that differential. And that's where I lost track of them. But that story happens. People can get kind of addicted to their lifestyle and addicted to their spending. And so, if you're going to have a big lifestyle, you're going to need a lot of money. It takes a tremendous amount of money, especially with the variability of what happens out there. So I would say flexibility and making sure that you have that in place so that when there are downturns, you can just adjust and deal with it and make it a temporary situation instead of a permanent one where you've spent all your money. Because it's going to be hard to get that back, especially for this couple because they were pretty young. It was going to be a long time that they needed the money.
So is that why you always recommend that you pay off that loan, that mortgage loan before
Yeah.
you retire, so you have that flexibility, try and get
Yeah.
rid of all those big fixed costs?
Yeah, and if you can't do it before we retire, make it a goal, pay it off a little bit extra, get rid of it. Yeah, exactly, because it gives you flexibility. If, if you have a $250,000 lifestyle and it's all variable costs, in other words, travel and different things that you at least have some shot of cutting down if you want to, and then you can be more flexible versus, let's say, 200,000 of that is locked up in things that you can't get rid of when things go south. Man, you got no flexibility. So yeah, exactly right, create that flexibility mentally. I would say the mental part of it's more important. I've seen more trouble with mental, and we all see this. We see, people with health problems that can, smoking is going to kill you. They keep on smoking, right? There's things that are hard to stop doing sometimes, and so spending sometime and overspending is a habit. But then structurally, you're exactly right, Ethan. Creating that structure so that you have that flexibility. Things are good. Ooh, you can spend even more than 250 if that's your goal. But when things are poor, be able to kind of adjust that, and that's keeping that fixed cost, that structural fixed cost low. And if you can't get there in retirement, just keep working on it, because not everybody gets in the perfect situation, but just keep working on it, and it's possible to get there.